Alrighty, it's almost midnight, I'm jacked up on a can of Monster, and I can't think of anything I would rather be doing right now than to review a movie about a mute woman who ends up f***ing a fish. Hello everybody! So The Shape of Water is a new film by director Guillermo del Toro, who also wrote and produced this film, and it tells the story of a woman played by Sally Hawkins who works in a kind of a scientific research facility in the 1960s, and she happens to be a mute. One day this creature is brought in who's kind of like this fishy man amphibian kind of a guy, and she winds up forming a bond with him to the point where it sort of turns into this really weird kind of a love story. Now, ordinarily, a story about a woman falling in love with a fishy guy, you know, that might be considered a little bit weird, and in the hands of many other directors, it probably would have been done, yeah, nowhere near as good as this, but in Del Toro's hands, this is a fantastic film. Del Toro, for most of the time, you know, he is such a visionary storyteller. I mean, you look at movies like Pan's Labyrinth, which were, you know, I mean, that movie, get out of here, that's extraordinary. And this movie was almost on par with that. It is incredible. Not just the story, look, it just nailed everything in terms of the performances. Richard Jenkins is in this movie. He plays her kind of quirky next door neighbor. We've also got Michael Shannon as, once again, a villain, but yeah, he played a really his villain character wasn't just, you know, your typical bad guy for the sake of being bad. There were a lot of layers to this character. And that's the thing, all these characters, there was so much depth to everybody. Even the fishy guy had depth, and I'm not just talking about the water. Whew, I really gotta lay off the monster. Octavia Spencer is also in this film, and yeah, she was kind of the comedic sidekick in a way, but yeah, she was really funny. Her character was great. But yeah, like I said, this is such a visual masterpiece. The way that the 1960s was recreated was extremely authentic, and at times, even though, you know, it looked like a modern movie, at times it almost felt like you were watching something from the 60s. The dialogue was awesome, the cinematography is amazing. I mean, this movie has been nominated for a ton of Oscars. I think it's actually, I've got to check my facts here. I'm just spilling this out without actually fact checking, but I think it might actually hold the highest number of Oscar nominations for this year. The score was absolutely fantastic. It just enhanced the moods of the scene so well, and it actually, you know, there were a lot of parts of the film that I was kind of involved in the score more than what was going on the screen. It was that good. And the themes in the film were easily relatable. They covered things like love, connection. There was a lot of, you know, parts of the story that really touched on the whole theme of connection. And also just finding something that fulfills your life. All the characters had this running theme, including Michael Shannon's villain, where there was just something in their lives that was missing, that they were striving to achieve. And even his character, I really liked it because he had a superior as well who he had to answer to. You know, he wasn't sort of the big bad. But while I loved so much of this film and it did so many things right, I was kind of hoping at the end that I might have been a bit more emotionally attached to the characters. I mean, you look at a film like Pan's Labyrinth, I mean, holy crap, that just leaves me a bawling mess by the end of it. I've got no shame in admitting that. Whereas this movie, by the end, and of course I won't tell you what happens, but yeah, I was kind of like, okay, that was a nice story, but yeah, it didn't touch me the way that I would have liked it to. But look, that aside, I mean, like I said, this movie is just mesmerizing. Every single scene just really, I was drawn into the screen like a magnet. It was such a pleasure to watch. So this is definitely one of Guillermo del Toro's finest movies, and I'm gonna give The Shape of Water a 9 out of 10. Alrighty, over to you guys. Have you seen The Shape of Water? And if so, what did you think about it? Let me know, because I would love to hear your opinions on this movie. I do respond to everybody's comments because, yeah, I mean, this channel's called Movie Talk, and yeah, I genuinely do like to talk to you guys about movies. And coming up soon, I'm gonna be doing a Oscar nominations prediction video with Jay the Bald Guy, like we did last year, where we're gonna try and predict who is gonna win the Oscars this year. So go right ahead, drop me some comments, either here or on Facebook. All the social media links are in the description below, because I like to talk about movies, and I would love to talk about movies with you. I'll catch you next time.
Click subscribe to stay up to date with all the latest movie reviews. Skynet will be taking over any day now, so what have you got to lose? Nyah.